Hey everyone, and welcome into the first of our decision-making workshops. The idea here is that as we play through a game of Marvel Champions, I wanted to walk through each decision that we make and why we make it. Not just, obviously we're going to play Nick Fury here, but hey, why are we going to play XYZ in ABC position, right? So I hope this is a cool series that we can do together and that we all learn something. I think I'll be able to learn a little bit myself as I'm speaking those decisions out loud. So we'll see. It may be a longer video, but I think with Captain Marvel and Rhino here, I played a few practice games and she sort of just ran the table because of how powerful she is. So we'll see how it goes here. But I kind of liked that for this first one. So we are going to come over to here at the break-in and flip it over. Nothing to do here, but I've already done the one revealed on Rhino, going to find breaking and taken and bringing that out to the table. And then we'll give this another shuffle here, and then we are playing as Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel. We'll give this a shuffle. Now on my first two playthroughs, I drew like both the perfect hands. It was pretty crazy, so I'm assuming that we're going to draw a pretty terrible hand this time to make up for that. But he's starting with 15 health, we have 12, and let's go. So we're going to draw our 6 cards: Relentless Assault, Endurance, Psylocke, Hulk, Alpha Flight Station, and there's Nick Fury. So let's see. As we're deciding of what cards to keep for our mulligan, Relentless Assault, we know we're not going to have a minion on the table right now, so we can get rid of that. We know Alpha Flight Station is an incredible card, so we know we're going to want to keep that. Let's see. Hulk is fun and all, but either Psylocke or Nick Fury are going to get onto the table, so we're going to discard him. And then the Endurance is nice, but honestly, because we have such high cost allies right now, for the potential of getting both down, I don't know if we'll be able to hang on to the Endurance and pay for all that. So I'm going to get rid of it and then keep these 3 because Alpha Flight's going to be great in our alter ego. So I will draw 3 more cards: Boot Camp, Ironheart, and Photonic Blast. Okay, so this is an interesting start here because we can look at Boot Camp, and Boot Camp is so integral to this deck because it's focused on allies just getting that extra attack and doing a lot of the damage for us. But we'll see how it goes because our first choice here is that we're going to use our player action to draw 1 card. And I do that especially because before we do anything else, if you have the ability to draw cards, I like to draw cards first rather than, say I played Nick Fury or Psylocke. If I know I can draw a card, I want to see what that card's going to be. So the first thing looking at this that I'm going to want to do is play Alpha Flight Station, and I know we're not going to play 2 Photonic Blasts, so I'll get rid of that. And we play an Alpha Flight Station down here. There we go. And so we will have, we can exhaust Alpha Flight Station and discard 1 card from our hand. And then if we're Carol Danvers, which we are, we draw 2 cards. Right now I'm not focused on attacking, so I'm going to get rid of another Photonic Blast here and draw 2 more cards, hopefully into one of our 3 triple resources. And we don't get that. We have a whole lot of stuff here that is great, but man, it's tough because I love Psylocke. I want to get those confuses off. We could play, so here we can talk choices now. There's nothing new for us in alter ego, so I might as well flip up here. And while we're doing this, we can decide. So, right, you could say, oh, I could play maybe Throg and Ironheart, but I don't really want to do that. Ironheart does draw us a card, but I think one of the choices we could make is playing Nick Fury with the helmet, which we're not going to use, Throg, Ironheart, and it would be tough to throw Psylocke away, but we could throw her away, and then with those 3 cards, get Boot Camp down, and that kind of sets us up for the future. And I do know that there is a what's her name? Spider Woman in the deck that'll end up getting a confuse off anyway. So if I play Nick Fury, it allows me to at least get two cards onto the table. Whereas, say if we played Psylocke instead, we'd kind of be stuck there. So I am going to do that. I'm going to use these 4 cards here to play Nick Fury. And one aspect too to know is that we can't spend this resource to in our hero form to draw a card because we haven't taken any damage yet, but we are going to play Nick Fury onto the table. When we do that, we're going to choose to draw 3 cards. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, perfect. So let's see. Trying to think what we can do. We have our triple resource, so with that, we're either going to play Helicarrier or Boot Camp. Right now, Nick Fury and Captain Marvel are both going to be thwarting, so I think I'm just going to play my Helicarrier here to get that down onto the table, and that way next turn I can use that as an extra resource to play Boot Camp, rather than not having the extra resource for the next turn. And so we are going to do that. We're going to thwart Captain Marvel, Nick Fury. He takes the damage to bring this down to 0. And I guess there's a question in itself there. Why not attack for 4? The reason we want to do that is that we don't want this extra hazard icon. So we're going to get that out of the way. We have a clean board. I typically, unless I'm on a final push where I can do all the damage to a villain, I like to keep the board clean. And so with that, right, another choice, we could use Helicarrier and Boot Camp to get down Cosmic Flight, but I don't care about taking that much damage in this game. We're healthy and we have a lot of allies, so I am going to get rid of Cosmic Flight, hang on to our Boot Camp, and ready everyone up. And then, oh yeah, I just got these Ready Exhaust tokens, and I'm still getting used to those, so I double exhausted Nick Fury there. So with that, we're going to hang on to Boot Camp and draw up to our 5 cards. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And when I draw, I quickly kind of think what the next turn is going to look like, which probably we'll see if we get a ally for Relentless Assault, but we're definitely going to be able to get Boot Camp down, which is great. So we are going to go over to the main. We're going to add 1 threat here. Rhino's going to attack us, and Nick Fury's going to take this, so he is attacking for 4 damage. Nick Fury, unfortunately, does not make it. And then now, honestly, with our encounter card, I kind of want him to attack so I can take some damage and then start using our hero action, but let's see what we get. We get, oh, Captain Marvel Nemesis. This card shouldn't be in the deck. This was from my previous playthrough. I'd say, let's see, let me just pause quickly and then I will get these out of the deck and then come back. All right, so we are back. I'm gonna shuffle the encounter deck. Our Nemesis set is no longer in there, and I will note as well, our encounter set that we're using with this is the Armadillo set. I thought it'd be fun to go up against Rhino and the Armadillo, just 2 tough enemies. So we just shuffled that. We're going to now reveal what our encounter card will be. And it is Shocker. So when revealed, we deal 1 damage to each hero. That works out perfect for us because now we can use our action. And so Shocker introduces a pretty cool option here where we actually can make use of Relentless Assault. And in this case, I think I definitely would like to do that. But knowing that, let's see. Let's do that and see what happens. So the choices that I'm trying to think of is that after this turn, I definitely am going to flip down. So I do know that I'm going to be playing cards. So I want to think, what do I want to play in my hero form? And Relentless Assault is a hero action. It gets rid of Shocker. I think that makes a lot of sense for us to use, which I definitely think so. So we are going to use Relentless Assault with the power of aggression, and we're going to deal 5 damage to Shocker. That's going to go through Shocker, and 2 is going to leak over to Rhino. So he's down to 13 health. Shocker is gone. And now we have some options here. I could just straight up play this boot camp, but at the same time, I can be an alter ego when I play that boot camp or bug. So I don't need to do that now, knowing that we're gonna end up drawing extra cards. So with Captain Marvel, I am gonna thwart the 2, which just takes the 1 off the main, and I do have the option to use my ability, but honestly, let's think. Do I want to do that? We flip down. We might have the ability to play bug when we flip down. I'd rather hang on to him than use this action just yet, and it lets us use it when we flip up next turn, and we might actually need it, because right now we only have the option to do that once. So I am going to flip down. I'm going to use my action to draw a card, which will be a strength. That is great. And then, let's see, with Alpha Flight Station, we definitely do want to use that. So I have a choice here. I can either, I know I want to use boot camp, so let's say we could use those. And then with which card to exhaust and draw 2 cards, my thought here is that if I draw 2 cards, I can maybe play 2 to play bug. Energy Channel's nice to have down, but we do have another in the deck. So I'm going to discard that. I'm going to draw 2 more cards. Which, wow, even better. So this is what a perfect turn of events here. So the reason I say that is now, instead of playing bug, we can use 3 resources to play Spider-Woman, and we get off a Confuse, and that's perfect. And I forgot to exhaust Alpha Flight Station when I did that, but let's now exhaust Helicarrier and spend our strength to get Boot Camp into play. So now all of our allies will have +1 attack. I don't want to forget that. And so with these 3 resources, our energy and bug, I'm going to play that to get down Spider-Woman. Now when Spider-Woman enters play, we're going to confuse the villain. So Rhino is confused, which is perfect for us. So everyone's going to ready up. We are going to do all these. Oh, with, I guess as well, something I forgot to do here is that I could use Spider-Woman, and I think honestly I will just do that while we have her. So let's say before I did that, let's use her 3 attack now to go ahead and attack Rhino for 3 to bring him down to 10. And then on our next turn, we can see what we do. So now she'll be readied. Everyone's ready here. We will go over to Rhino. He's going to add 1 to the main scheme. And then Rhino's going to scheme, but he is confused, so he does not scheme. And now we get our encounter card, which is a hard to keep down. When revealed, Rhino heals 4 damage. And perfect. That is an incredible encounter card because honestly, damage comes in plenty in this game. And so him going up to 14 health is no big deal for us. One of the best things we could get there. So now it comes back to us. Something I forgot to do completely is draw my hand. I think I'm just sort of racing along here. So apologies for that, but let's draw our hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And we can see what we do here. I do know as well, typically like in this deck here, we don't have any actions that are going to happen on the villain's turn, but you know, I should have drawn my deck regardless. So let's look at our options here. The first thing that we are going to want to do is draw the cards that we're able to. So we will want to use our ability to draw and 1 card for ourselves, and we get our combat training. And then we get to use Alpha Flight Station, which we can look at what we would want to discard, and it's going to be Crisis Interdiction, which is, you know, unfortunately, like Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel, such an incredibly strong character, but she does come with her Crisis Interdiction, which is not a great card. So we're going to get rid of that to draw 2 more cards with Alpha Flight Station. And wow, look at that. So we get our energy absorption and another Crisis Interdiction. So with this and everything we have on the table, that's all the cards we can draw. It's everything we can do in Alter Ego. I know that what I want to do is be greedy here and pay for a Quinn Carrier, but we have to be in our Avenger form to do that. So we have some options, right? With our 3 resources here, we can play either Photonic Blast or Quinn Carrier. I definitely want to get a Quinn Carrier onto the table, so we're going to go ahead and do that and get that extra resource generation. That's going to come in with a ready and exhaust token. And now we can start making some decisions. So we have 2 allies here, a combat training. We have Spider-Woman in play, so we know we have a blocker for next turn if we need it, if we don't use her action and spend her last health. But let's see. So knowing that we have a wealth of resources here, I'm going to use this Genius. Well, I guess let's think before I do that. Now that I have the Quinn Carrier down, let me just use this as a energy resource. So I can spend that energy resource, heal my 1 damage, and draw my card. Like I said, I like to know what cards I have, which works out perfect here because now I can use this power of aggression that we just drew to play combat training. So combat training is going to come in. I'm going to put it over here, which might be off screen, but something that should be on screen here is going to be our attack modifier. So now we have 3 attack with Captain Marvel and a bunch of resources to do stuff. So let's see. We could do some damage, which we might as well go ahead and do. Because the other options, right, I could just straight up right now get down Sunfire and Spider-Girl, but Photonic Blast is going to allow us to do some bigger damage, and it lets us draw a card because we're spending that lightning resource. So I'm going to go ahead and spend 3 to play the Photonic Blast. We're going to deal 5 damage, down to 9 health, and because we spent that resource, we get to draw a card. Into Thor. So let's see, we have a bunch of allies in our hands. With our resources, we can either play Thor, Sunfire, or Spider-Girl. Because Thor has so much attack right now, we can just straight up take down Rhino into his next form this turn. So I think we're going to go ahead and do that actually. So we are going to spend our Helicarrier, Spider-Girl, and Sunfire to play a Thor. Thor comes in with toughness, but I think we're going to go ahead and let's see. So what can we do? We can either, so with 9 health remaining on him, we have 4, 7, 10 damage on the table. In my head, what I'm thinking now is like, hey, maybe do I want to hang on to Spider-Woman, just let him attack and then bring him down on his next turn? But honestly, why would we do that? We might as well just deal the damage while we can. But this is the decision-making workshop, so there are reasons why, especially if he were to come into his 3rd stage and bring out an annoying side scheme that gives us an extra encounter card, sort of like what he does from his 1st to 2nd stage, then we wouldn't want to knock him down right before we're about to get that encounter card. But in this case, that's not going to happen. So we are going to take no damage here. We're going to attack with Thor, ping off his tough, and do 4 damage, down to 5. And it's 4 because we have 3 plus 1. And then Spider-Woman can go ahead and attack for 3 to bring him down to 2 health. That knocks her out, and she'll be back for our shuffle, which is great. And then the last thing we can do is activate, and we're going to swing to take him down to his final health here. So version 2 is over. Version 3 comes out. He comes in with toughness, and when revealed, we're going to be stunned. That is a-okay. So he has 16 health. And so now, once he's in this stage, I typically try to think too much about what comes out and what will happen, but I do have to remember that I might draw enough cards to give us 16 points worth of damage, so I should definitely remember that before trying to clear out maybe some minions that don't have guard and things like that. So we're going to ready everyone up. And we're going to draw up to our 5 card hand size. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. There's Avengers Mansion hiding at the bottom, and we're not really, might not need that anymore. So let's see what we can do. We can go over to Rhino. He's going to add 1 to the main scheme, and then he is going to go ahead and attack. Honestly, we're at full health, and despite him attacking for 4, we want Thor and his 4 attack that's coming up, so we're just going to take it. So he is swinging in with 4, just 4 damage. That brings us down to 8, and now we'll be able to use our hero action. And then what else does he got for us? An encounter card. So encounter card comes out, and he gets a tough status card. Okay, not too bad. So let's think what we can do with our hand here. I think the first thing we're going to want to do, Marvel Boy can pierce off the tough, which is great. But a lot of these cards, Energy Channel, with that, Energy Channel and our attacks, we'll see. We might be able to do something here, but I think the important part is going to be spending our Queen Carrier, using that resource to heal 1 damage, and then draw a card. Unfortunately, the stun that we have might kind of hurt us a little bit here, so we'll see what we can do. So right off the bat, I could think about swinging and removing my stun, but right now we don't know if we have the damage to actually finish him off if we play Energy Channel to use that attack. So I'm going to think about this for a little bit. I'm going to do what I know I can do first, and so what I know I can do is I can pierce a tough with Marvel Boy. So I'm going to go ahead and use a Helicarrier, and I'm going to have to use a Mockingbird here. No, wait, when Marvel Boy attacks. No, so I'm going to use a Helicarrier and our Avengers. No, we're going to use a Crisis Interdiction. Maybe not, actually. Let's see. So Crisis could take the 2 off if we end up clearing our stun. So it's like there's a possibility it can be used. I'm definitely not going to use Mansion this turn, so I'm going to use Queen Carrier and Mansion. Drop that off. Now, if Mansion was earlier in the game, we would play it almost immediately. So we're going to bring Marvel Boy in, and then he's going to go ahead and attack, and we are going to spend our Mockingbird. Do we want him to do that? Yeah, I think at the end of the day, we're not going to have enough damage to do here, so let's see. He does have 16 health, so this would be 3 and 7. And then at most we would be able to do use our Energy Channel, swing, and then pay 2 resources to do that. So that'd be 2 more. So he'd be down to 3 health at most at the end here, which isn't necessarily what we want. So what can we do here? Knowing that, I know I can flip down and figure out what cards I draw before spending Mockingbird for our encounter set. So here's where, you know, a lot of, we haven't actually played this yet. Here's where a lot of decision making can start happening. So I already kind of mathed out, at least from what I can think, that I'm not going to be able to get off the actual kill here. I could use Alpha Flight Station and see what I get with like the Cosmic Flight, but I don't think that's worth it to me. Honestly, right now, I think I would be fine to, let's thwart for 2 to play it extra safe here, and then flip down. And then here's where, right, it comes in handy, where I don't think I flipped this when I used my action, because I think I used that that brought me in Mockingbird, but I'm going to flip down now, and let's draw some more cards. Flip down. So here's where it comes in with infinite choices that we can make, right? I play a little more risk adverse, so I'm going to come down, deal with this phase, and then knowing I can knock him out next turn, more than likely. So with this, I'm going to use my action down here to draw my final card, which will bring in a what am I saying? An encounter card here, and then we can use our Alpha Flight Station. I know I can't use Relentless Assault this turn, but let's see. I know I'm not using Crisis Interdiction, so I'm going to get rid of that instead. But before that happens, we would have shuffled these up and Crisis would go into our discard pile. So, you know, you want to do everything in the right order, but a lot of actions during this game. So let's see what we can do. I discarded my Crisis Interdiction, and now I draw my 2 with Alpha Flight Station. Sweet. So we know we have some things coming ahead here. I can definitely, with our choices here, I have 2 energy channels. I can only play one of these at a time, and I think I will play one of these. And then the choices that I have here is that, right, I can either play Mockingbird, which I think I'll end up doing, but my choices here are either to save, hang on to these energies and start filling up energy channel for next turn, but I think we're going to have enough damage. And, oh, yes, perfect. My bad. So one thing I forgot to do is that I know we're going to be wanting to pierce the attack with Marvel Boy, so I know we want a fist resource, so we're going to use this captain's, her helmet for that, and then we can use the rest of these, to pay for Marvel Mockingbird, and that works out. So we are going to do that. Marvel Boy is now going to swing, take his damage. We'll spend this fist resource, ping off the tough, and go in for 3. So he's down to 13 health. Thor's going to attack, take 2 damage, and he will attack for 4. So he's down for 9 health. And then we will bring Mockingbird into play with these 3 resources here. Which, right, I guess in hindsight, these energy resources count as 4 damage, where she's just going to be bringing out 2, but she is going to get us our stun. So we're going to pay those 3, bring in Mockingbird. She's going to stun Rhino, and she's going to swing and take her damage and bring him down to 7 health. And so, you know, Rhino's on his last breath here, so unless something major happens in these 2 cards, we'll see. But, you know, never say never. We're going to ready everyone up here. We're still stunned, Rhino is stunned, and we're going to go over to his turn here. And now it feels like we're just kind of playing around with him because he's just hanging on by a thread. So he's going to do that. He's going to scheme for 1, 2, 3. And so, hey, he brought it up to 4 out of 7. So one of these could easily be a advance, and we could lose. So we're going to get our encounter card. And so I should have said never say never, right? Because we'll see. I typically have more confused down onto the table when I do this, but we're going to flip, and it is an exhaustion. So this is going to surge, and we are going to exhaust, and it's going to surge into a tough it out. Give Armadillo and the villain each a tough status card, and then this will surge because we only handed out 1 tough into an assault, which will then surge. So we're really digging for advances here. It really wants us to get it. So Alter Ego, this gains surge. I'm telling you, we're going to get the advance. Alter Ego, each enemy with a tough status card schemes. Okay, this is... Wow, that's huge. So he is going to scheme, and we might end up losing here. So he's scheming for 1, 2. So that brings us up to 4, 5, 6. So we're 6 out of 7. And we get our last encounter card here, which could be the end for us. He has a tough status card, so this is going to gain surge into a caught off guard. Okay, so we're able to somehow survive that. We have to discard and upgrade our support we control. Right now, it's just going to be our combat training because we're about to defeat him and we are stunned, so we can't swing, and exhausted. So we're not going to swing to attack anyway. So here we go. And that is that. And he almost beat us. So that is, right, decision-making workshop here. I honestly made the wrong decision there because we knew we were about to win. And I flipped down thinking I was safe, but kind of forgot that advances exist, right? And he wasn't confused. He is still stunned though. But yeah, so there you go. Don't. That's why we have this workshop. I'm learning myself here as well that was a terrible idea. And as we went through all that, I still forgot to draw my hand. So I'm going to go ahead and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So yes, sorry that I'm making all kind of mistakes here. So really, like we have the win here, but we can come here and still do our actions of, oh, this was already exhausted. We'll draw a card, and then we can do Alpha Flight Station. We'll get rid of Mansion again because we're not playing that. Do this and draw 2 more cards. So right, we're incredibly wealthy with this deck here. So we're gonna flip up Captain Marvel. We can draw even more cards, but I don't think we need to draw this out. We can attack with Marvel Boy, and then when he attacks, we can spend Coin Carrier as a fist resource to pierce through the tough, and he's going to do 3 damage because of our boot camp. So pierces through tough, comes down to 4, and then we can have Thor swing for 4 and knock him out. But that finishes the game for Rhino. Almost finished the game for us. That decision, as we're making this, I'm glad I'm able to do this because it can be, you can be sitting at your phone or computer screen yelling at me right now saying, or, a couple minutes ago saying, don't flip down, he could scheme out, you ding dong, because why would, but yeah. So anyway, so that's I like doing this. This is good. I'm learning myself here. If you already have the win, why flip down and risk getting schemed out on? But fortunately, we made it on that one. We just, we had to give Rhino a chance there. We're winning too hard there. So thank you for joining along in this first edition of this. I hope it helped. Let me know if it does, or let me know if this is more of a flop or something you're not interested in seeing. But, if you want more of these where I just kind of talk out, play a card, ask why, think about what the other decisions might be, let me know. And I appreciate you joining along. We'll see you next time. And before I sign out, I'll come in and say as well, please, if you like this video, like and subscribe below and leave some comments. That really does help, and it helps me interact with you and helps me put out the best content I can. So thank you very much. We'll talk to you guys soon.